Aloha, everyone. Thank you for joining. We will start off with Pule with Mr. Endo. Mahalo.
Before prayer, I just want to say this. This is a very important because it's a very important election year. I was asking somebody why didn't they vote the way they do. I said, oh, because that's how my mother told me how to vote. I said, now you better start educating yourself. Mm, Cannot go with tradition. Yeah. And that's my challenge to you guys. Study. Make sure you know why you're voting the way you're voting and who you're voting for the right reason. And the only reason I say this is I watched this video on El Salvador. Used to be the murder capital of the world. Now it's the safest place in the world. And the president said this: the problem with most politicians across the world, they forgot they represent the people. So we represent the people. That's why we do what we do. But let's pray. Father, I do thank you. I thank you for the examples you have showed me across not only on this island but the world that when you direct a country and you direct a nation, things are porno. And Lord, so we ask your help. Direct us, the city, the state, and also our schools, Lord, that we will have the best schools in this nation. Bless our superintendent and help us as a board to do what you desire. Bless our meeting. For us is in Jesus' name. Amen.
Mahalo, Mr. Endo. Okay, so just some house rules. Um, so anyone wishing to speak, if you have any questions for our presenters, you will line up at the mic. You will, so that doesn't fit in the 2-minute time frame. If we're pressed for time, we will be shortening the time. The 2-minute time frame for you to speak will be for community concerns. And always in our meetings, let's agree to disagree, but let's do it in kapu aloha in all that we do. And so I appreciate all of you guys for being here and everyone that is traveling on their way. I know the traffic is pretty heavy today. And we will start off with Honolulu Fire Department. Mahalo for being here.
Hi, I'm Captain Ishima from the Waianae Fire Station, and I'm here to report the statistics for the previous month of June. Yeah, so there was one structure fire, 21 nuisance fires, one cooking fire, and 5 activated alarms with no fire. And other emergencies, there were 131 medical emergencies, 7 motor vehicle crash and collisions, and 1 hazardous material incident. The fire safety tip for the month, it has to deal with heat safety. So Hawaii has some of the highest annual average relative humidity in the country. When it is too humid, our bodies have a harder time cooling down, which can really lead to heat-related illnesses. In the past decade in Hawaii, the average number of hot and humid days and very warm nights have more than doubled due to climate change and are expected to increase. Make sure you're prepared for that heat. So some of the tips are to keep cool with fans or AC, spaces in stay in spaces in shade, wear lightweight, loose-fitting clothing, drink plenty of water, stay out of the sun, wear a hat outdoors or take an umbrella. Check on neighbors at high risk for heat-related injuries, more the kapuna and the young. And for more resources about heat-related illnesses, extreme heat, and how to prepare, go to www.heat.gov. That's it for the statistics. Any questions?
Mahalo. Board members, any questions? Not seeing any. I just like to say mahalo for all you guys do. And I will be in communication with you guys. I know I was working with Captain Jason on setting up a board tour on the new facility.
Oh.
So I didn't get any dates, but we will be sending you some dates for us to set that up. So
Sounds
thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Community, go ahead.
Hello, I'm Austin Salcedo, KL ag landowner out there. The third fire that happened less than a year, maybe about 9 months apart now. Over my neighbor's property on Farrington Highway, right across from KL Beach Park, a vehicle fire alongside the Mauka side of the road, scorched the phone lines, electrical lines right above it, and scorched my neighbor's property. And that's the second time that occurred. Last year, I believe was August of last year. That arson was arrested. So, and during the Macau bridge closure, there was another vehicle fired. Basically, it was houses, individuals. So, the land over there, our Heg land over here, my neighbors, is all dry brush. 4th of July is coming this Thursday, so I'm expecting something by tomorrow night. It's been happening. So I'm hoping that we're going to have periodic Honolulu Fire Department vehicles going out there, just kind of mitigating, taking strolls out there, just watching. If any aerial fireworks, that's what we're afraid of out there. Okay, that's what I'm asking for, a routine surveillance out there.
Yeah, I can let the oncoming companies. They're going to be. I guess that's on Thursday. Yeah. So I guess I gotta let the companies tomorrow know to let the next companies that could be a concern.
Yeah.
I know it's been kind of ongoing over there. Has the inspector kind of come out there before? Because I feel like we've had the inspectors come out there, but I don't know who owns, if they've been trying to get in touch with the landowner.
But as far as landowners concerned, I'm not aware of it.
Mm.
But we just, on my property, we're just trying to keep the grass.
I understand.
Yeah. But the rest, I have no control on other land, agricultural landowners. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah,
It's-
yeah, awareness. Yeah, I think it would also really depend on pretty much how busy they are to be able to kind of keep kind of going out there, making trips out there. Yeah, I don't know if they also have to kind of involve HPD to kind of help with that patrolling that space, because all we can do is mitigate, but we can't really like enforce anything on like people or kind of kick people out. It's more that's kind of like the HPD side.
Yeah, I just well, we have a new law enforcement on the block because all the properties on the mountainside is owned by the state. So DLNR, we call DLNR, nobody comes out. We had high power shooting back, nobody came out from DLNR. So the state-owned property, maybe we just call the state law enforcement to assist them in calling them over and whatever they need to assist our HPD. State law enforcement is on. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Sorry, Captain Huggy. Sorry, Board Member Vahilani has a question now.
Sorry.
My apologies.
Yeah, sorry about that. Thank you for being here. Always showing up HPD. I appreciate you folks, and I just wanted to thank you guys for showing up to HECO's meeting on the 27th. And right now we're in fire season, yeah. And I live up Puea, and every summer, we threaten with,
Yeah.
So having Uncle Eric them, them with the fire breaks and whatnot, and even having Mikey light him up over there is a great asset to HFD. So, and being that this Thursday is, everybody gonna be blowing up the aerials. So, yeah, just wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, good evening, Chair.
Good
Board.
evening.
John Laputi Travis. Cap, you mentioned on one of the statistic reports you had a hazmat incident. Would you able to give us more detail on the location of that?
As far as right now, I just have the statistics. I don't know exactly what it was for. So I can actually look that up and then for the next report to kind of share with them. Thank you. Anything else?
No, I think mahalo again.
Thank you.
Have a
Good night.
good evening. Thank you for attending. And then moving right along to Honolulu Police Department. I see at least 5 of us on there. Thank you so much for attending. Mahalo, Corporal. Again,
Good
go ahead.
evening. Good evening,
Good
Madam
evening.
Chair, board members, members of the community. Corporal Pagan with the Honolulu Police Department, District 8 Community Policing. With us tonight is Lieutenant Carrera, Watch Commander, Lieutenant Cavaco, as well as Corporal Kleinschmidt and our Sergeant Muro Oka. I do have your stats for June. In June, we had 36 motor vehicle thefts, 10 in our area, 26 burglaries, 6 in our area, 127 thefts, 25 in our area, 35 unauthorized entries into a motor vehicle, 17 in our area, a total of 336 citations issued, total of 8,454 calls in the district, 2,316 in our area. I just did want to mention before people start asking regarding the shooting in Waianae on Sunday, the case is still under investigation, so there's not much that we can really share. I also did want to remind everyone, I know people are keep talking and still mentioned about the Waianae police station not being open and stuff like that. The Waianae station is open. We are processing prisoners. You do have people working there. So it is a functioning police station. Again, my personal opinion, I've stated this for years, that, you know, the bigger issue is not necessarily the station being open. It's having funding to fund more beats for officers in the district. Having the station open, you're going to have a commander, an operations officer, you may have your criminal investigation division, but all of that is not going to change the amount of officers you actually have on the road. So again, you know, understand, we let the community understand that the police station is open. We are processing prisoners there, which is the same thing we do at Kapolei Station. So it's not a closed station. It is working. It is being operated in, and we do have someone manning the desk there. So if anybody needs to walk in there. Other than that, I'm open to comments, questions, or concerns.
Mahalo. Board Member Vahilani.
Aloha, Corporal Pagan. Always good to see you. Wonderful mahalo HPD for showing up at the HICO meeting too on the 27th. I know that you said that this past shooting is still under investigation. But was there any perpetrators caught, or was the shooters caught? If you can at least share that. If not, I understand.
I am not aware of if anyone's been caught. It is my understanding that some people from the community have come forward because they've been able to identify some of them. I know Crime Stoppers have put out a bulletin with some pictures and stuff like that. So I believe we have at least some tips if they haven't already been arrested. So other than that, that's all I really know about them.
Mahalo.
Mahalo. Board Member Perry and then Board Member Wilbur.
Thank you, Corporal Pagan, for attending tonight's meeting. On that note about the shooting, I think landlords should be held responsible to keep our community safe. So if any of them are renters in the community, I believe that the landlord should be held accountable of and responsible to make our community safe. And if that's the case, maybe there's some evictions that needs to take place. We need to keep our community safe, and we should not be renting to people that come to our community and criminalize our community. Thank you. Just a comment.
Thank you.
Mahalo. Go ahead, Board Member Wilbur.
Thank you, Chair. Hey, thank you, Corporal Pagan, for that, the neighborhood security watch that you participate in, as well as your fellow officers along with the mayor. We really appreciate, your guys' presence. I wanted to ask if you could email me your guys' next upcoming SPOs, as far as the parks are concerned.
Okay, yep, no problem.
Mahalo. Community, any questions for Honolulu Police Department? I'm seeing none. So thank you so much, Honolulu Police Department, for attending. We appreciate your service. Mahalo.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. And then ocean safety. Is Jason or anybody here for ocean safety? I know their shift is longer, but any report? Okay, so moving right along, we don't have a report currently for ocean safety. And then we are moving to recognitions. So first recognition would be to Senator Miley Shimbabukuro for her years of service. I know she is on the road, so I think Patrice, are you online?
Aloha, yes, I am online.
Aloha. So we'll just read it and then I don't know if we can coordinate to give
Oh,
the
yes.
ukama to you. Okay.
Would Cross be able to
Mahalo.
take it and I can grab it from him later and deliver it?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so resolution to recognize and honor Senator Miley Shimabukuro for her years of service. Senator Miley Shimabukuro has selflessly served our Moku first as our state house representative in 2003 and was later appointed as our senator in 2010 till 2024. Whereas Senator Miley Shimabukuro has served the community of the Waianae Coast with dedication and commitment. Whereas Senator Miley Shimabukuro has worked tirelessly to address the needs and concerns of her constituents, wholeheartedly advocating for improvements in education, healthcare, and housing. Whereas Senator Shimabukuro's leadership and vision have contributed to the betterment of the Waianae Coast community, fostering economic development, environmental sustainability, and social justice. Whereas Senator Shimabukuro has demonstrated unwavering support for the preservation of Hawaiian culture and traditions, promoting the welfare and rights of Native Hawaiians. Whereas Senator Shimabukuro's efforts have been instrumental in securing funding and resources for various community projects and initiatives benefiting residents. Whereas Senator Shimabukuro has been a role model for civic engagement and public service, inspiring others to participate actively in their community. Therefore, be it resolved that the Waianae Coast Neighborhood Board hereby recognizes and honors Senator Miley Shimabukuro for her outstanding service, dedication, and contributions to the community. Be it further resolved that this resolution be presented to Senator Miley Shimabukuro on Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024, as a token of our deep appreciation and gratitude for her leadership and commitment to the Waianae Coast. And it lists all the board members that currently serve on the neighborhood board.
Oh, thank you so much. My senator, she said she's very touched by the gesture and thank you so much for honoring her.
And just so the plaque was created and it just says it's a surfboard and it says
Aw.
Mahalo for your years of service and then the Waianae Coast Neighborhood Board and the year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving right along, I'm gonna hand this over. So recognitions to West Side Hawaiian Civic Clubs. And then I believe Cross is going to read those certificates.
Aloha mai kako e nā poe o Hawaii, e nā poe o mai Nanakuli I mai Makaha. I ke ia ahi ke ho'omaupopo nei I nā sibila Hawaii I loko o ka moku o Waianae. Aloha, everyone. Mahalo for coming out tonight. We have many people from throughout this moku here to get recognized. We are going to be recognizing the Hawaiian Civic Clubs that are within our moku o Waianae. So we have the Nanaika Pono Civic Club, we have the Lu'ulu'ele Civic Club, we have the Waianae Civic Club, and we have the Makaha Civic Club. And we really wanted to do this tonight because the people within the civic clubs have been advocating for our community for multiple decades. And when the Civic Club Association was created by Prince Kuhio Kalanianaole in 1918, his vision for these civic clubs were to be able to advocate for our people and advocate for our Native Hawaiian communities throughout the state. And so we really are thankful for the work that our civic clubs have done throughout the decades within our community. And we are proud to say that our community has the most Hawaiian civic clubs throughout the state and the world. So go us. And we would, we would like to recognize each Hawaiian civic club. So as we read the certificates out loud, if you folks, whichever representatives from the civic clubs came tonight, if you guys could approach the stage, that would be appreciated. So first, we have the Waianae Hawaiian Civic Club. On behalf of the Waianae Neighborhood Board, we recognize your dedication to the advancement of Native Hawaiians through education and preservation of Native culture. Can we have the Waianae Civic Club come up, please? Yep. Auntie, can you say your name?
Aloha, I'm Stephanie Cavello. I'm with the Waianae Hawaiian Civic Club. A little history, it was established in 1935 and we got chartered with the association in 1959. So our club will be 89 years old next April. So we're one of the longest clubs here. I think we're the third.
Thank you, Auntie Steph. Can you stay up, please, while the others come up too? Next, we have the Makaha Hawaiian Civic Club. On behalf of the Waianae Neighborhood Board, we recognize your continued involvement in perpetuating the Native Hawaiian culture through civic engagement and the advancement of Native Hawaiians.
Mahalo Anuiloa. Thank you so much. Mahalo kako, everyone. Makaha Hawaiian Civic Club was established back in 2012. So we're just babies right now. But we represent our moku very well, as you can tell, as we continue to advocate for our people, for our children alongside. Can our members please be recognized here? Oh, okay, they're standing up. Mahalo Anuiloa. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, awe no hoe. Oko inoa Georgiana Navarro from Waianae Homestead. Mahalo Anuiloa. Thank you. And I've represented the Pelican Canada position for 2 terms. So thank you. Mahalo.
And then we have the Nanaika Pono Hawaiian Civic Club. On behalf of the Waianae Neighborhood Board, we recognize your continuous support and encouragement of organizations to improve the social and economic welfare of Native Hawaiians.
Aloha mai kākou. O kumuna ko inoa noho au ma nana kuli. I'm the secretary for our Hawaiian Civic Club, and our president couldn't be here tonight. But one of the things we're going to discuss also in upcoming meetings is that, a lot of people are familiar, the other Hawaiian Civic Club members. One of the other things is we're going to try to see if we can change the name from Nanaika Pono to Nana Kuli. So that's one of the concerns, okay? And I think we can do it, but mahalo, so wonderful, and mahalo for this award.
Thank you, guys. And then lastly, we have the Lu'ulu'ele Hawaiian Civic Club. Oh, we do have a guest. Good, perfect. On behalf of the Waianae Neighborhood Board, we recognize your commitment to the Native Hawaiian community through civic engagement and cultural perpetuation. Mahalo.
Georgette, oh, hey, Georgette.
Aloha. My name is May Holokai. I represent the Lulu'ule Hawaiian Civic Club. Joe Lapalio, who is our Pelekekena, was unable to be here because he's on the mainland. So he asked me to come and represent. I have to disagree with Georgie. We're the babies. We're the youngest group. We're the youngest group along the coast within the Moku. And anybody who resides in the Lulu'ule or along the coastline, if you want to come and join, please come. Mahalo.
Here you go, Auntie. Yes, one more round of applause for our Hawaiian Civic Clubs, please. Again, a shameless plug. If you would like to join, we would love for you folks to join their clubs and get involved in our Hawaiian Civic Clubs through our community. Oh, Auntie Georgette, go ahead.
Aloha, sorry you're a little bit late. Georgette Nohea Stevens, the Pelikikena of Waianae Hawaiian Civic Club. We've been in existence since 1931. It's pretty awesome. Almost as old as me. But anyway, last year we did a strategic planning meeting and we said that we see a Waianae speaking Olelo Hawaii in 50 years. So please join us in this initiative, in this effort, because when we speak our language, we start feeling who we are as Kanaka. And obviously, we don't have 100% Kanaka in our community. We have everyone, every race is invited to join us and learn our language. You live in Hawaii, come and learn our language. Mahalo.
Mahalo. We're gonna do a 5-minute recess so we can get a picture, and if I think everybody can be in this photo would be awesome. Mahalo. 5-minute recess. So meeting is back in order. And I really quickly just want to emphasize recognitions started because we most often come to the meeting and all we hear is all the negative that we already are surrounded with on a daily basis here on the coast. And so recognition started to show forth the good that is happening in our community and the positive, because we already hear all the negative and we're already suppressed by all the headlines and everything. So we wanted to create a space where we could recognize all the individuals within our own moku that's making a difference and doing the work. And so all board members is equally a part in who we recognize, or if they have anybody they would like to recognize. That door is always open for us to include those recognitions on the neighborhood board. But that is why the recognitions began on the neighborhood board, was to bring the positive that's happening in our community, so we're not surrounded by just the negative. So like it's stated in the agenda always, is that we don't want to just be where we hear everything, but we want to be solution based. So with one problem come with 3 solutions. We want to see as a moku how we can resolve some of these issues, because we already see history of years in the waiting of issues that we hear on this table and in this space. Change board members, the issue's still there. So how do we as a community come together and resolve those issues and make the relationships to the different departments that we need to create so that we can see a better tomorrow? And that's where our vision is as a board. So it doesn't matter who we are on the board, but we all participated in this capacity for one reason, and that's to see a positive difference in our community. So that's what myself personally, I strive for every day. It doesn't matter how much time it's going to take out of my schedule. I'm going to do my due diligence to answer my phone call, answer emails. But this is nothing to do with anything you see politically or whatever. This is true and genuine, and we appreciate everybody that works in their moku. Even if you're not recognized on this agenda, know that we see you and we appreciate you. And don't let any of the heaviness stop us from doing what we're doing currently in our community. So we appreciate you all. Moving on to the next agenda item. Mahalo. Board business 5.1, approval of Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. That was the minutes.
Approve of the minutes.
A second.
Okay, so a motion for approval, it's been seconded. Any discussion? Or any opposition? Okay, oh, yes, go ahead, Board Member Perry.
I oppose because I prefer the old format where the report is more detailed rather than the way it's now. So I abstain in approving the minutes for May 7. Thank you.
Mahalo. Okay, so any other abstentions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, so motion passes. We're approving the minutes for May 7th. 5.2, approval of Tuesday, July 2nd, agenda. Philip, your vote on that last motion, was it an aye? Jeff is clarifying. We can't hear you. Oh, mahalo. Okay, so approval of Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024 agenda.
Approval.
Second,
Okay, so moved by Kaukohu and seconded by Johnny May Perry. Any discussion?
I have,
Okay, go ahead.
okay, last month, the month before we approved the agenda and then you arbitrarily changed it around without any motion. So when we approve it as is, let's stick to it as is. Thank you. That's my comment.
Sorry, can I have clarifying on that? Which agenda are we referring to and what agenda items?
We didn't have meeting last month, so the month before or the month before that or the one after that. We approved it and then you changed it around. I can send you the information.
Okay, so we're talking about May agenda.
I'm talking about we approved the agenda as is I'm talking about tonight's agenda. Tonight's agenda we're approving as is. 3 meetings ago, we approved as is and you arbitrarily changed it without taking any motion.
I'm
So
sorry,
all
where
I'm
did we
commenting
change the
is
agenda?
we approve the July 2nd agenda as is. We need to stick by it. Thank you.
I don't think we were changing anything, just for clarification. There has been no change in the agenda. There was a motion to approve the July 2nd and you seconded it. There's no motion or moving of any agenda item.
I get that for this month. You are correct for July 2nd. All I'm commenting is, but 3 months ago, we approved an agenda and you arbitrarily changed it around without any motion. So that's all I'm saying. I'm making a comment. Tonight's agenda is approved as is. If there's any changes, then we need to make a motion. That's all I'm commenting on.
Mahalo. Go ahead, Jeff.
Test. Hey, Board Member Perry. So she does hold chairmanship. She makes this statement. If there are no objections, I'd like to take the agenda out of order. And if there are no objections, she can do that as the chair. If any board members would like to take an item out of order, they would need to make a motion and it would need to have a 2/3 vote to be made out of order. But her being the chair, she can do that if there are no objections to her doing that in her own right. Does that make sense?
No, but that didn't take place. Let's move on. That didn't happen the way it's supposed to. Thank you.
Okay, can I make a
Mahalo.
motion?
Is there a discussion to the motion that's on the floor currently?
If it's regarding this, is it regarding this agenda? Because could we have the date on the agenda item reflect the actual day? because it shows July 9th.
Yes, that correction can be made.
Thank you.
Sorry. Hey guys.
Hi, Philip.
Hi. So I'm actually on for tonight's agenda. I was actually trying to make a motion. And that motion was to move up 5.5 to be ahead of 5.4 because if there's any open nominations of anyone that we want to fill seats tonight, then at least they would be given the opportunity to fill in, to be nominated or voting for the new positions.
So if you're making a motion, do we have a second?
I have a second.
Okay, and if I may, just for clarifying reasons, Jeff. So the reasoning for 5.5 and 5.4, so previously, this was switched in June's agenda, but that was recessed. But because our voting should have happened last month for the new officers to take place this month, the reason for officers being voted in before is so that we have the new officers to run the remaining of this meeting, and then we can fill the vacancy. Because in actuality, that voting has to be the first voting board business has to be taken care of first, according to our plan. And that's the reason why there is the shift in the agenda item, and the officers being voted is first and then the vacancy. But if you have 2/3 votes tonight, then if Jeff doesn't have any objections, but as according to our plan, that's the reason why the officers, because officers should have been voted on last month. And it should have already been presiding with the new officers. So that's why it's the first voting agenda item in board business. And that's how our rules are stated in our board plan.
Yeah, but unfortunately, last month though, the month before in May, it was put on the floor for anyone who was wanting to participate in the board to fill the seats. So
Right.
that is a prior, before June's agenda. So now it
Unfortunately-
would have still been
Right.
rolled into that, right?
Yes, so that's the only reasoning on why it was first. But if we don't fill all the officer seats when we do this board item, whoever's in the vacancy we can put it back on the floor for us to vote for the officer if any person wanted to fill that officer seat. So if we have any of those officer positions open, they are still more than welcome to serve as an officer if we have openings.
I understand. I'm just trying to make sure that we, you know what I mean, that everybody has an opportunity to vote. If we're gonna have new members on, which was supposed to have been in May and was actually put into May, and it
Yes.
didn't meet the timeline for them to be, executed.
So I'm gonna defer
Okay,
to
moving
Jeff
on. Let's
on
not.
his-
Yeah.
Again, if you have the 2/3 though, we can move the agenda item. So-
Yes. Hey, Philip. Oh, sorry, member Ganavan. So what Chair just alluded to, as long as you can have the 2/3 vote, you could take the agenda item out of order. It was passed board business. Regardless of order, this doesn't have to be done in a specific order to where the voting of officers takes place first, then the nomination goes. It could be vice versa. It could be towards the end of board business, however it was set up. So as long as you get a 2/3 vote, which is 6, and I believe we do have all 8 members present, as long as that motion receives 6 votes, we can rearrange the agenda.
Okay, thank you. So,
Okay, so any more discussion on this motion? Anybody online? Okay. If we are all in favor and want to do a voice vote, everyone in favor, say aye.
aye.
Very aye.
Philip, aye.
Lanford, aye.
Yeah, we just don't have. Okay, so we don't have board member Crab's vote, but I believe that's 6. Okay. Okay, so moving agenda item 5.4 above 5.5. And then going back to our original motion to accept the agenda as amended. All those in favor, say
Aye.
aye. Okay.
Perry, aye for the agenda.
Kano, aye for the agenda.
Okay. Mahalo. So we're going to 5.3, report of board members' attendance at other meetings and board member declarations of conflict of interest regarding any issue under board business that would require disclosure or recusal. Board members, what's the board member Waianae?
Attended the HICO in July 27, the HICO meeting.
I attended Darius Kila's town hall in Nanakuli last month. Right, Darius Kila.
Board member meeting. Any that you attended. Okay. Okay, so myself, I've attended the HICO meeting, Darius Kila's town hall, and Waianae Advisory Board with LCC. And Waianae Kupuna Council, just because there was multiple of us. Any other board members with meetings to report? Go ahead, Member Ganabon.
Richard Lanfordoni, the Kapuna Council.
Oh, okay, mahalo, Uncle Richard.
Chair Wilbur.
Yeah.
I also attended council's hearings for ocean safety, park and recs.
Mahalo.
Yeah.
Okay, and then board member Ganabon.
Attended Darius Kila's town hall meeting.
Mahalo. Okay, so moving on to 5.5, open floor for nominations for board member in sub-district 2, receive introductions and voting. So the floor is now open for anyone who would like to participate on the board in sub-district 2. I see Mr. Manaku. If you can approach the mic, please, or okay, yeah, go ahead. Chris Miroka, we can come to the mic, please. Sub-district 2, if anybody is wondering, that is precincts 3 and 4, and that is the Makaha area. So parts of in front of Waianae High School onto Kaena, if anybody is interested, or online that would like to be a board member. We only have one vacancy, and whoever puts their paper in, board members will vote who will serve in that vacancy. Mr. Manaku, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Kim Manaku, Senior, former board member for 15 years. Thank you.
Mahalo. And then go ahead.
Hi, Chris Moroka. And I volunteer for the position.
And you can introduce yourself and yeah, why you want to serve on the board. He just mentioned he's
Well,
former.
because I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a business owner, and I'm a lifelong community member. And quite frankly, I'm disgusted with the way our community is. And I want to do everything in my power to try and help make change. I want to do everything in my power to help make a difference and bring back this community to where everybody is smiling, everybody is waving, everybody was helping. And believe it or not, I want to get back to where any of you sitting here can scold my children and I'm not going to get offended because I know you guys doing it out of the righteousness of your heart. It used to be like that. You know, that term takes a village to raise a child. We used to be one really, really good village. I can tell you when we got on a beach before and we get out of line and the uncles or the aunties, couple tents down, catch us, one slap across our head. And then they would grab us by our hand and walk us to my dad's tent and then tell my dad what we did. and we get one more slap. I want our community to be back like that. Right now, our community is so divided, so crabs in a bucket syndrome. That's why we cannot battle homelessness. That's why we cannot battle crime. We put a lot of blame on the police and a lot of blame on we just put a lot of blame on everybody else. We got to take initiative. And that's what I want to do. That's why I want to be on that board.
Mahalo.
So I'm gonna chime in. So since there's two volunteers, a single board member has to nominate whoever they wish would be on the board. It could be either one of them, both, or neither. And whoever is nominated would have to receive the quorum number of votes, which is 5, to be elected to the board. And once they receive that vote, I can give them their necessary papers, give them the oath of office, and they can join the board for the duration of the meeting and participate in any board business.
And
So-
verifications you've already cleared, right?
I've cleared one of them, yes, but I only have to clear the one or
Right.
verify the one who gets nominated and
So I
gone through with the voting.
I have Board Member Wilbur and then Board Member Perry.
I could nominate Chris Moroka for the open position.
Okay, and then Board Member Perry.
Perry nominate Monaco Senior.
Okay, so we have 2 of them now nominated.
Hey, Chair, I can chime in. So for this process, since both have been nominated, I'll do a roll call. The board member's name who I name, please just give the last name or the first name of the person you would like to be nominated to the board. If one receives the quorum number of votes, then that is the person elected. If neither of them do, we'll do another roll call vote. And if neither one of them is able to receive the quorum number of votes, then the filling of vacancy will be postponed until next month. So I'll do a roll call vote now based off the list I have. Please say the first or last name of the individual you would like to be nominated to the board. Board Member Crab,
Manaku.
Board Member Endo, Board Member Gondawan,
Chris,
Board Member Lanford,
Chris,
Board Member Perry,
Monaco.
Board Member Vahilani, Board Member Khalil Wilbur,
Moroka.
and Board Member Chana Wilbur.
Oh man, I love both of you. I'm I'm gonna go with Mr. Moroka.
After my roll call vote, Chris Muraoka did receive the quorum number of votes, so he is the one who does receive the nomination and be able to join the board. Just from some precautionary stuff, or not precautionary, excuse me. I do have some paperwork for him in the oath of office. If you would like to continue with the agenda while I give him the oath of office, or if you want to do a quick recess, it would take no longer than 2 minutes.
We will go
Quick
with the
recess.
recess because the officer voting is next. So we're recessing for 2 minutes. Right? So Board Member Muraoka is officially a board member, but will not participate tonight as a board member. And we mahalo Mr. Muraoka for being part of our board. So the next agenda item on the floor is for nominations and voting of officers. So board chair, vice chair, secretary, sergeant at arms, and treasurer. Johnny May Perry, you have a question?
No, I'm ready to vote my nomination.
Okay. Go ahead if you have a nomination.
For chair, I'd like to nominate Khalil Wilbur.
Board Member Wilbur, do you accept? No pressure, but it is 7:30.
I accept.
Okay, any other nominations?
What was the answer?
Myself.
He accepted. Okay, and we have nomination for Philip Ganaban. Any other nominations for board chair? Okay, so we will move to a vote. On Jeff will do a roll call vote.
This will be similar to the vote we just took for the filling of vacancy. The chairperson, the two chairpersons elected, Kalei Wilbur and Philip Ganaban. When I call the name of a board member, please cast your vote as to who you wish to be the chair. And again, they do have to receive the quorum of votes. And if not, we'll go through it again. And if not, then the process, if there's no person elected tonight, there will be a chair pro tem, which is the last acting chair, which would be member Tiana Wilbur. Board member Crab,
Abstain.
board member Ando, board member Lanford.
Gannabon.
One more time. Sorry.
Gannabon.
Gotcha. Board member Perry,
Kalei Wilbur.
board member Vahilani, board member Tiana Wilbur,
Ganaban.
board member Ganaban.
Myself.
Sorry, this is preliminary stuff. You have to do that.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, no
board member
worries.
board member Kalei Wilbur.
Ganaban.
Thank you, sir.
With that vote, with the board members that we do have present, board member Ganaban has now been elected as the new chairperson of the Waianae Neighborhood Board.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Uncle Richard. Appreciate that.
Okay, moving on to vice chair. Any nominations?
Yeah, I nominate Kalei Wilbur.
Second.
Any other nominations? By default, Kalei Wilbur is vice chair.
Yes.
Okay,
Congratulations.
secretary. Oh, go ahead, Uncle Richard. Go ahead, board member Richard Lanford.
No, just congratulations.
Oh, mahalo. Okay, secretary.
I nominate Cross Crab.
Cross Crab, board member Crab, do you accept? Say in the mic.
Yes, I accept.
Okay, any other nominations for secretary? Seeing none. Okay, he is our new secretary. Oh, wait. I'm gonna pause. Jeff, it's not me anymore. It's Philip, right? He carries on the meeting. Right?
No, you gotta finish.
No.
It's finished for tonight because he's not here. We do it.
It has to go by a vote, but he's the. I'm sorry, we're waiting for our NCO real quick.
Nice try.
Finish this. Philip does.
Nice tries to you, pro tem.
We got a job.
Philip, on.
Time check, 7:35.
Yeah, it's 1:35 here in Canada, guys. Can I Can I turn it
So
to
you-
the vice chair for now? Because I'm going to be
You
checking
would
out.
have to put it to the acting vice chair, and that is now Kalei Wilbur.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
Thanks, Kalei. I appreciate that. You guys have a good evening now.
Mahalo, Philip. Congratulations. Have a good
Thank you,
vacation.
guys.
Safe
Yeah,
travels.
class of 89 is in the house. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. You're a great American.
Oh. Where we at? Treasurer. Okay. Any nominations for Sergeant at Arms?
Yeah, I nominate Tiana Wilbur, Sergeant at Arms.
Mahalo. That's so honoring. I decline.
I nominate Uncle Kelvin. Tell him my uncle. I nominate Uncle Richard as Sergeant at Arms. Uncle Richard.
Sorry. Due to medical reasons, I gotta decline.
Johnny May, your hand is up.
I nominate Wahilani for Sergeant of Arms.
I second.
Been seconded.
I nominate Chris Morelka as Sergeant of Arms.
Oh,
So we have while
Okay.
recognizing white Coco and
Yeah.
and
Chris.
Morocco.
If he did make the decision to not participate in this meeting, he will be participating next month. If there is a declining of the Sergeant of Arms nomination, we can keep it open to be available for filling for next month.
Okay, I take the Sergeant at Arms then.
sounds good.
Okay, so now we have to fill the treasurer position.
Okay, I nominate Uncle Kelvin.
Second.
I guess so. We have our seats are filled. Okay. We need to vote on anything. We can move on. Jam me up.
You are now on item 5.6.
Okay, so we're on community. Okay. So 5.6 discussion on participation on August 3rd, Waianae Elementary and Boys and Girls Club fields and all future events by sending email to all board members for us to participate, to be visible in the community. Maybe also doing a free booth at least monthly at our Makeke market. More engagements and interaction year round with our community. Okay, so that's an announcement. We need to decide that as a board. Okay, so oh, Perry, your hand is up.
Thank you, Chair. Vice Chair. I like the idea that we be visible in the community. Even like the oops, where did we go? The committees can be present in the community at those monthly locations. But the only drawback may be setting up like tents and chairs and table. I found that to be an issue to get those supplies, but the idea, the concept, I support it. Thank you.
Board Member Wilbur.
Mahalo. So this is just to make it easier that when we have community events come up, then we can address it via email and say this event is happening, so that we can collaborate and participate in the future events. But yes, that issue we do run into with having the setup, the chairs, tables, tent. But let's be more proactive as a board and let's hui together in how we can get that efficiently and effectively to be involved in our community.
Yeah, question, Chair. What is the time on that event, August 3rd?
Tentatively, it's 10 to 5, and the details to follow.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Chair recognizes Tiana Wilbur for.
So I motion for us to have discussions, future discussions for any community events via email for our participation, moving forward.
Second.
Second by Waianae. Any discussion? Any opposed? Motion moves. Oh, carries. Okay, moving on. Presentation 6.1 HECO Wildfire Prevention Project with Kurt Sue.
Aloha, board members, community members. Chair Wilbur, do you know if the board got received my slides? If not, I can just speak. Oh, thank you. Just want to mahalo the board and community members who joined us for last week, Thursday's meeting. I apologize for sharing the same information, but I will try to go through them more quickly and then open up for questions. Sorry. But thank you for pulling up the slides. If we can go to the first one, please. Again, mahalo for joining tonight, opportunity to share information. This one is all of you should have received, and we have more at the desk, but we had questions about what else are we doing? You know, we're sharing information about what's known as a public safety power shutoff program, or PSPS. And this is to address wildfire hazards, which are now a top threat here in Hawaii. And this program that we're talking about tonight is really intended to keep our community safe. And this is where we may preemptively shut off power in areas of high wildfire risk during periods of high winds, low humidity, and drought to reduce ignition from our electrical equipment. And we apologize and understand that turning off electricity is a disruption and a hardship for communities, especially businesses, those with medical needs and facilities. And we're working closely with first responders, critical service providers, and emergency management agencies to do this in a way that keeps people safe. This PSPS could last as few as a few hours, but in worst case scenarios, it could last several days. It's possible we don't need to do it at all, but we just want to be prepared. What's shown here is just a summary of all the additional actions we're taking. It's not just this program, which is intended more to be a last line of defense. We hear loud and clear from the community. We're going to be upgrading our equipment. Currently, we've installed what's known as fast trip settings on the electric system in high wildfire risk areas. This is where power will shut off quickly if a disruption on the energy system is detected. We blocked a feature called reclosing. This is when there's a disruption on a line. Normally, the line will power back on automatically, but in high wildfire risk areas, that can present a problem. So we've disabled that feature. We're also increasing our vegetation management, and we're initiating what's known as a hazard tree removal program. And this is to remove trees with shallow roots from falling into our lines. We're also actively hardening the system, replacing poles, replacing power lines, putting some power lines in what's known as covered conductors. And we're also replacing material from copper and upgrading to aluminum. We're also going to be undergrounding lines in strategic areas where there's transportation risks, and actively working with fire department, police department, emergency management agencies. And this is all while working to secure federal funding. Many of you have heard about our efforts to do that so that the burden does not fall on the community. Next slide, please. So this was just to share information about the program, which took effect on July 1st. That doesn't mean that we're initiating a PSPS. I do apologize to anybody who was impacted. There was a power outage today that was experienced in Nanakuli and some areas of Waianae. There was a really bad car crash on Pa'akea today. And that also resulted in the traffic lights going out and may have resulted in some of us being late for the meeting tonight. So I do apologize for that. There was some confusion in the community thinking that that was a PSPS, and I just wanted to clarify that it was not. This program is only going to be done in worst case scenarios where we have a combination of really high winds and really dry weather conditions. What's shown here is a map and of the impacted areas, and this is also available on our website, hawaiianelectric.com/PSPS. And I encourage those who haven't had a chance to check it out. We have just last week when we had our public meeting, launched brand new GIS maps. So it's similar to Google Maps where you can put your address in, it'll drop a pin and it'll show the affected areas and whether or not the address you put in is in the affected area. So they can go to the next slide. That's what's shown on the next following slide. These areas were looked at based on where fires have occurred in the past, so fire history. We also looked at historic wind data, so how fast wind speeds have been occurring in the valleys, where there is overgrown fuel and vegetation, where there are critical facilities in the community. We look at areas where there's egress issues like Farrington Highway especially, and of course the location of our electrical equipment. And all this while also installing what's known as sectionalizers. So you'll notice that much of Farrington Highway is not impacted. We also are working to isolate and remove critical facilities like hospitals to the best that we can. We're working with the Board of Water Supply to install equipment to keep pumping stations working so that water service can continue. Although there are currently some pumping stations within the impacted area. So again, this is just a little bit closer view of what the map looks like. And again, we're trying to prioritize the areas of greatest risk. And you'll notice that it is more in the valley areas. So this is more a close-up of the Makaha Waianae side. If we go to the next slide, please. So just a couple of things. This is the handout from the website. Won't read off of it. And this handout is again at the front if anybody needs it. Red flag warnings you may have heard are also known as fire weather watches from the National Weather Service. They're just one of the things that we look at, but they're not the only data entry points. The Weather Service may issue a red flag warning when they see winds over 20 miles per hour, while we're also experiencing low drought and humidity conditions. But what we're looking at for this PSPS is really higher wind speeds. We're talking about 45 to 50 miles per hour. And those are typically not seen, or they're rare during the summer, but they do happen. We don't want everybody thinking there's going to be a power shutdown every time there's a red flag warning. It's going to really be contingent on the higher wind speeds. And so using that weather data from forecasters and the increasing risks that are identified by the Weather Service, we're going to be coordinating with government officials, first responders. Throughout the event, we're going to keep our communities informed via emails, of course, using the traditional website, media and social media, all of the various channels. For those who have mobile devices, we have an app that you can install and you can sign up to receive these alerts immediately. And in August, we're going to have even a broader program, electrical program to help notify customers via text messages and phone calls. So those are all things that we're working on. Next slide, please. I'll just be really quick on this one. This is just to demonstrate that we also rely on in-person information, not just what's being monitored via weather stations and National Weather Service. We deploy our employees who are also carrying weather monitoring equipment, and they're doing visual inspections. They're looking for lines touching each other due to the heavy winds. to prevent things like sparking, or if it looks like there's an area of risk, they'll call that in and they report that back to our incident management team center. And so these notifications, we hope to do 24 to 48 hours before any shut off should occur. But all of this depends on weather. And if there's a fast approaching system, we might not be able to give that 24 to 48 hour notice. And this is just to show process, but once the weather passes, so part of it depends on how long those high sustained winds last. And once those conditions pass, then we can go out with our crews. You can see the bucket trucks there. We can only sustain winds of about 30 to 40 miles an hour in the truck. So that's the reason for not going out immediately. But we'll perform a safety inspection before we re-energize power, because we don't want sparks to happen too quickly if we don't check the equipment and there was damage and we turn power back on. So once we finish that inspection, we will restore, and that will be the determination on when power can come back on. And that's the last of the process slides. And the next one was just a few more closing ones, just where people can get more information on our website, hawaiianelectric.com/PSPS. We encourage you, if you haven't already, update your information. Many people who might have updated their email address, a new cell phone, please make sure that that's current in our system so that we can contact you in the event of this type of incident. We also, this isn't only for customers. So for those who don't have accounts, who just want to receive the information, you can sign up that way as well. And for those who do use social media, everybody can access our Facebook, Twitter, our X, and Instagram accounts, and all of that information will be posted publicly. Next slide, please. And lots of preparedness information. Again, we're in hurricane season. It really is the same types of steps that we would take in event of a hurricane or a longer power outage, or we can work with our communities to prepare. And again, this is all available on our website. We'll also have a hotline that people can call to get information. One important consideration is all of the colored areas that are shown on the maps. That doesn't mean we don't intend to de-energize the whole colored area. It's going to be based on the information that I explained, the wind speeds. Those are the thresholds we're looking at, is the 45 to 50 miles per hour winds. And so when we see that happening, combined with the dryness and the visual inspections, that will result in the de-energization of power. So it's not, again, that whole colored area. It may just be one line or a segment of lines, not the entire area. But that's the information we're going to let you know when these inspections are occurring. But I'll stop there and open up to the board for any questions. Just want to mahalo you all again for the time and the opportunity to share information.
Coco, go ahead, Jan.
Hey, mahalo, Kurt. Wanda, and I saw you earlier tonight. Yeah, you look familiar. I saw you. But anyway, so on the map, so my question is for Oahu, for Oahu, only the Waianae coast will be having this PS, or there are other mokus on Oahu. I forgot to ask you that on the 27th.
Good question, board member. So we're starting in the Leeward Coast just because it's the area of greatest risk. So that's where we're focusing all of the infrastructure upgrades as well. We are looking at expanding the program to other areas of high wildfire risk. So we're using the State Department of Land and Natural Resource maps. They've identified areas like Central Oahu, North Shore, also areas where there's lots of vegetation and risk. So we're going to be expanding the program going forward. You'll notice on the neighbor islands, there's a lot more areas. It's because of the way that the system is configured. A lot of, like, we have transmission lines and distribution lines. On the neighbor islands, some of them are served by the transmission lines. So when those bigger lines get de-energized, it's a lot more customers or accounts that get impacted.
Johnny May, you're online. A board member, Perry. Followed by board member.
Board member Perry, you're muted.
Board member Perry, we can't hear you. Okay, we'll let board member Crab go, and then we'll come back to you.
Thank you, Chair. Kurt, from the community concerns and suggestions that we had from the last meeting, are you folks taking into consideration what they said and, trying to implement any of those changes in these plans?
Definitely the focus on the infrastructure upgrades, those are happening in parallel. The coordination to support medical needs customers. We're working with the City and County of Honolulu. We want to better understand the needs. There was suggestions from the community at the last meeting about either rebates or battery devices. I think the part that I'm not clear on is, for like those who rely on oxygen tanks, what types of needs they have. So we want to work closely with the medical providers in the community to understand how we can help with that. There's a lot of there's a lot of services that like the food bank and others are going to be offering should an extended outage occur. And we're going to also be boosting those efforts by supporting those through funds and financing as well.
Sorry, quickly, follow-up question. For the neighbor islands, did you folks speak with the communities on their islands too? And if so, did they have similar concerns as us?
Yes. Yes. Short answer is for Maui County and Hawaii Island as well. It's really the medical needs customers are the top priority in terms of how can we best support them, and also infrastructure, to your point, board member.
Mahalo.
Board Member Perry, did you have a
Thank
question?
you. Yes. So the federal funding, you're using Waianae to get the funding? Or when the funding comes, it's strictly for Waianae or statewide? That's a question. Are you gonna do an intensive flyover of the area in question? And lastly, when you come over the hill at Nanakuli, when you pass Kaihi Power Plant, you go over the hill coming west. Okay, as soon as you go over the hill on your right, there's a huge monkey paw tree, and the utility wires is entangled in that tree. So is Waianae being used to quickly get federal funding to do this project? And I would like for you to come back to see to report the progress.
Thank you, Board Member Perry. Yes, the Waianae is one of the areas of greatest risk that we included in our application for federal funding. It is not limited only to Oahu, but that is the area where is going to be focused on heavily on Oahu. We're also going to be using funds to help Maui County as well as Hawaii Island. So it's for the service territories, but we are prioritizing the Leeward Coast specifically for Oahu. Board member asked about the inspections. We did perform thorough flyover inspections of the lines. This includes drones as well as helicopter flights. So we have done that assessment, and absolutely, board member, to coming back and reporting on progress. In addition to this program we're talking about tonight, there will be projects that will impact the community, pole replacements, line replacements. And so we'll be back to share information about that as well. I did just want to lastly just mention that the funds also allow for supporting community-driven projects. Board Member Wahilani asked about opportunities to support things like fire breaks and native plant reforestations, and the federal funds can be used for that as well.
Board Member Wahilani.
Hey, Kurt, my question for you is, so when I was looking at the map, it goes all the way up Waianae Uka, and it goes into Lihue, where everybody calls Schofield, but that whole area is Lihue. So the Army occupies that. So are you guys gonna, if it gets to that red conditions, are you folks working with the Army, or the Army is not in this PSPS?
No, good question, board member. Yes, we are working with Army garrisons who has power lines up in that area, and that colored area you mentioned is noted because that's where the equipment is installed. So that would very much have the weather monitoring equipment that monitors wind speeds, and if we do see those 45 to 50 mile an hour thresholds, they would be subject to de-energization.
Board Member Tiana Wolper.
Mahalo, Kurt, for your presentation and for coming out another time for our community to participate. So first is a concern and then comment, but the first concern would be part of Johnny May, Board Member Perry's question, in that the concern in the community is that we always have all these departments or organizations that receive federal funding and is basically receiving it on the backs of the people, right? Because it's higher risk area or heavily populated and houseless community, but we have a very low turnout as far as the services that get given to our community. So here we are, and it's constantly said in our board meetings from community members, the money bucket, right? We're the money bucket in this community. And for us, that is the biggest concern, is that we continuously bring money into our economy, into our government and these systems, but we see very little accomplishments for us as a people. So just taking that back diligently to ensure that you guys are going to utilize those funds that you receive for the benefit of our people and our community and the concerns that we have and want addressed. And then going right into my comment in my appreciation with the work that you guys have been doing and partnering with DHHL or also the garrisons to resolve the concerns of the fire break. I know I spoke to you last week regarding properties that are either alongside DHHL or things like that. And so I will be sending that email to you, but I appreciate your guys' participation and kokua in getting the information to the community and allowing us to engage. So what I would actually like to ask is that anytime you guys plan things like the PSPS, that community first has a place at the table to share what is the best way forward to see what preparedness measures we know would benefit us as a people, because we live here. So we know that there's one way in, one way out. We know where it's going to bottleneck. So having the mana'o from the community, I think would be very ideal for you guys moving forward in anything you plan. Mahalo.
I have a few questions and concerns regarding the map that you guys had there. That obviously only showed the Waianae Moku. Is there other parts of the island that should be included on that map, or is it just our area?
For this first year of this program, everything that's colored, shaded, when you go to that GIS map is what's going to be impacted, or the boundaries of what's impacted. We do also have on the wildfire safety page, the DLNR maps that shows the overall landscape of wildfire risk. And that's where you'll see areas like Central Oahu and North Shore also included. So that's where we're looking to, those are more classified as medium risk, but we're going to be prioritizing those areas as well.
Okay, and then a lot of the fringe area, or the area that's most threatened, where residents are, there's a lot of power lines, there's utilities, is there any possibility that those areas could be put underground so that they wouldn't become a fire risk, or put in an area where, or some kind of buffer so that they're not a burning pole in the future? The other thing is, you talked about your wind, your barometers or whatever they're called. They're up by the mountains. Air funnels up there. So I would feel you guys would get kind of misinformation showing that the winds are at 40 when actually in the area in threat might only be at 20. So it would be a good idea to put it like at the elementary schools or something, where it's central in our valleys and stuff like that. You'll get a better reading, something more consistent, because it is in the community. But up by the mountains, we all know that the wind really gets pressurized up there. So you might get a misread or something. I hate for you guys to shut off the power thinking it's 40 and it's actually only 20. The one more thing was direction of wind. So if it's 40 miles coming from the windward side, are we now in threat of being turned off? Or if it's 40 miles coming from Makai, are we still in threat of being turned off? Because now the fire is going in the opposite direction, right? So those are concerns, and if you guys could address those, if there's any follow-up meetings and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your time. Community members. We got Mr. Endo, one last one, and then we'll go to community.
So Chris, we had a car knock over a telephone pole goes by over here. And I noticed right after that, we've had a bunch of trucks working on all the telephone poles and the braces all the way into Macau. And I just was wondering, is there something they found? Because I noticed they started replacing a lot of the cross beams that's holding the wires on the top. So I'm glad that somebody's doing it. They're doing the kind of maintenance. But I just wanted actually to thank you guys. Even though you might be blocking traffic, but at least that it's getting safer, right? And we don't need another Lahaina fire. Then there is a situation, it happened months ago where we had strong winds and a resident, they live across on this side of Frampton Highway, by the surf side. The winds got strong enough, it blew over one of those real tall Calvary trees. And she was really concerned because that street she lives on, the Calvary trees lying the right side, but all your telephone poles are on the left side going up. And if the wind was strong enough to fall over, we could have another Lahaina fire. So when she reported it, and later on I reported it, we were told that they were going to take a look at it and maybe they could cut the trees because it might be under the hazardous prevention. Nothing happened. So I just wanted to bring that up. Hurricane season, if the winds blow that way, all the trees could fall on those power lines.
Thank you, board member. Just note that, yes, the accident in Makaha that took out the pole was unrelated to the work that you're seeing, but you're absolutely right that those replacements are part of the program to make the grid, harden the system currently. Thank you.
Committee members? Let's keep the questions and concerns to Hiko and 1 minute.
I get two questions. Now they're doing the diligence now? Because I mean, they're gonna take care of Waianae now, they're gonna shut off the electric when the wind comes, yeah? Then there's an action two and reaction, right? So what happened to Lahaina is the same thing what could happen over here because the lines even hit the grass and light up, but they didn't have water, but they had opportunity to shut off the electric 2 days before that. Okay? That's why I said there's an action two and reaction. Because now everybody like federal money for forest fires and Lahaina fires, you know what I mean? That thing could have been stopped. The thing could have. You know what I mean? It could have. They could have shut them off 2 days before because we know the thing was coming. Because it's putting people, what, 80 to 100 people and die around there. They got cooked. You know what I mean? And that was our capital, the kingdom capital. Aupuni o ko Hawaii Pa'aina. That was the capital. They burned all kinds of stuff in there. Artifacts, all the palapala. Because some people no more palapala ala nui. Plenty people no more.
Thank you.
Hi, Blessing Star. I just need some clarity and clarifications. The federal funding that was received, there's notations in there what you can use under the federal funding, and it's specifically for on this side, right? Correct? If it's used under that with maintenance wise, a portion of that federal funding goes into maintenance, correct? So it should also include the people that are the community who are also disabled and so forth. So that portion out of federal funding should also go directly towards
that portion to help the people with the disabilities, correct? But in clarification, HIPAA laws need to be applied in our community for the people as well, correct? Okay, so when that goes into an effect, your PSPS, and you guys are doing you guys' plan and everything else, our electricity on this side, we don't have our electricity skyrocket again, correct? Because it's being funded by the federal funding portion. Is that right? Okay, thank you for your clarification.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Shelby, billionaire Pikachu here. So I have my solutions because we've been to Lahaina, we've been to Kukai Mauna. You can't get lithium batteries. We just had our special meeting after your HECO meeting at the Waianae Comp. We had a lot of community members there, just broke us up into districts. They asked us for our solutions, what our SWOT analysis. And I told the HECO reps there, we need portable solar chargers. You can only get them on base. They don't sell them at Best Buy. You can't get them anywhere else. You also need inverters. So when your power goes down, like today, luckily I had my Goal Zero, my solar panels, and I was good to go. I could play my music. But if you got freezers, you have to look at power, wattage, amps. E over I times R. It's current. I'm not sure what equals with electricians. Amps times resistance gets your voltage. Now you got to do watts. How much is your freezer? How much is your generator? Where's your propane? Where's your gas? If there's a tsunami, it's going to lock down the whole roads. You can't go anywhere. You guys are going to think about this stuff because it's going to lock us down like that. And you can't get to Walmart. You can't get a Home Depot. Right now, we got City Mill. You can't buy this at City Mill, but this will save your phone. You'll be able to contact your community. We need the Channel 11, the CB radio, so we can get comms up. That's what we did. I have walkie-talkies. I am ready to go. But not everyone has their to-go bag, and you got Kapuna answering, what are we going to do? The military should supply us. The National Guard gets activated with the generators and everything. Governor Green failed, just like Mayor Bisson. So I don't want to get screwed like Lahaina. And there was 5 fires. You had gas, you had explosions. Our escape route is the Waianae Boat Harbor. But if a tsunami comes in, then we got to go up the mountain. So I hope you guys talk to them. If you can use federal money, we definitely need Go Zero solar generators. And since we're all HECO customers, they should subsidize it, sponsor it, give it to all the current customers here since we're the guinea pigs and ship it here. Because you're already like millionaires on the bank account. You own ASB, you own Matson, and you own HECO as well. I don't know how King David Kalakaua lost electricity. We had it before Washington, D.C. And maybe we can explain it later on to that board. But that's my solutions to you. And they should sponsor it for all customers currently. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just piggybacking on Pikachu, the federal funding should be applied to that for us as your customers to have that. Thank you.
Any more concerns or questions? Could you please come to the mic? Could you state your name and then
Name's Larry Hinojosa, citizen.
speak into the mic, please?
Larry Hinojosa, citizen. Miley. Sir, my question is that you guys are a utility service, right? And you're supposed to supply utility service for our communities, which you have been through the years, right? And we have some problem with like the safety issues. People always bring safety to the community, utilize that situation. And then pretty soon we got all these rules and regulations come from all kinds of different ways because of that use that they're putting into play. So now, and then I read about this, about the civil, defense and everybody and all the community agencies coming into play with that situation. My question is, with the new law that just came out in Congress, right? And Chevron difference that they came out with, the new laws, that it's taking away all the power from the bureaucracy, so it's giving back the power to the people. So my question is, if the power is given back to the people and they're in charge of this stuff, then why is Hawaiian Electric as a utility creating regulations what we can and what we cannot do? And do they even have the authority to do that at this point? Because this past Friday, that law passed and the bureaucracy has no more power anymore. So if the power is given back to the people, then shouldn't the community, like the neighborhood board, communicate with the people and put the regulations and things that we should do as a community on board, not Hawaiian Electric. Hawaiian Electric is a utility service, and it should be out there doing its service on the line to make sure that this fire stuff doesn't happen. Because it is your service, and we pay for it. So it's a paid service. And this federal funding and all this other stuff is based on this bureaucracy and regulations that's going to come down and harm us. And that's what happened to Maui. Poor buggers. And we haven't even come to a conclusion with that yet. And now they're going to push it on Waianae. What, we're next? You know what I mean? And people are getting really, really angry at this. But the laws has changed. Power is given back to the people. That's a positive note. So my question to you is, as a utility service, why are you creating these regulations and what we're going to do? That's all my question.
Just respond in respect to this program and sincerely apologize for the inconvenience that is the result of any de-energization. Main priority is keeping our community safe, and our perspective on the program is that it is, although it does create challenges and we want to work through those challenges, the alternative of not doing it in these really high wind situations could be worse, and that's what we're trying to avoid. And so I do again apologize for the inconvenience, and yes, we will be back. We will be reporting on the work that will be ongoing, and we will be taking in community input throughout. So just mahalo for the feedback.
Well, thank you, Kurt, for your time in coming down and sharing with us. We're going to be moving on, being that we did spend a half an hour on that, but I thank you for your time. Thank you for the questions and concerns. We're going to move on to item number 7, to community concerns for residents. Board Member Perry, your hand is up.
Yes, thank you, Chair. The concern, this one is for the federal. I'm not sure if Jill is here, but it's a community concern. And this is regarding the federal House Ways and Means. They have a bill on the Treatment and Reduce Obesity Act of 2023. These are medication that very costly, that you can lose weight, and it also helps with diabetes. So they should add on Manjaro and Ozempic as well, which provides less side effects. The next one for Jill is, you know, when you retire, your retirement, you have to pay federal taxes. I think your retirement income should be exempt if your income is 50,000 and below. I don't think as a retiree that you should pay federal taxes when you are already living on a fixed income. Also, I was watching the Judiciary Committee to swearing in of 4 judges. And what I noticed is the inequity of gender. There were 2 female judges that was going to be nominated and confirmed, and 2 male judges. The gender inequity was there were 4 male on the panel, the Senate panel. So we need some fair gender equity on committees, not only one gender. There's a concern that it should be gender equality. Next, the city purchased the military land. Council approved it. If people know the history in Hawaii, military lands is very toxic, a lot of illegal dumping. They do whatever. So thumbs down to the city for buying that property. Now, who has to pay for the mitigation? Not the federal, the taxpayers. That is not fair to acquire a land that taxpayers have to do mitigation. That should have been done by the federal before any transfer. And lastly, the Waianae Public Library main door glass broke. And it's probably a year or so. It's still not replaced. That needs to be replaced. And I'm not sure if Skyline is impacting the power outage, the electric power outage. I'm not sure if there's any correlation between Skyline and the like a rolling blackout in various areas. So I'll end there. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Perry. Any other board members? Coco, hands up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, I gotta go. I'm on my way to pick up my son in Kapolei. That's why I left. Anyway, my question, my concern is, so if you get like loud noises at night, right? What is the protocol? You call HPD, right? And then they come and they go to wherever the source of that loud noise was. The loud noise I'm talking about has been going on for years. And that's the bombing and the desecration of Aina that the army has been doing up in Lihue. Because I live up Puel, right, Waianae Valley. And last week, I think it was like Tuesday and Wednesday night was just going off, and for years, been up there from '77. And so, what is the protocol for us as community members? Because everybody on the Waianae coast here the military bomb. And it just gets to that point where, man, like, enough is enough. And I know about, like, national security and whatnot, but for us as Kanaka Oiwi, we look at the Aina as our kupuna, and with all this technology that's going on, look at Makua, they stopped bombing, live firing of Makua 20 years already. So my question is, like, how can we as citizens, because all of Waianae, from Nanakuli all the way. If you're living in the back of Pakia, Lulule, you can hear them. And sometimes the things shake our houses. And this, so protocol is like, okay, so what? We just gotta take them up to Okole. So that's my concern. And everybody know, war is a freaking big business, multi-billion-dollar business. Okay, and we still have freaking us as humans. You know what I mean? Like, bro, we stay in the 21st century. We're still freaking bombing Aina and killing people. Or we just, should put all the world leaders into a freaking boxing ring. Whoever can freaking box, knock out down there, there we go. You know what I mean? But my concern is, been up in Waianae Valley and Homestead from the beginning, 1977. Every night, they're still bombing, they're still going. So, I'm turning 58, and I'm still hearing that. What can the army do? So that's my concern on that.
Mahalo. Thank you.
They do
Any
late
other
at
board
night
members?
too.
I just want to emphasize that we got to keep our concerns to 2 minutes. Thank you, board members, for staying within the 2 minutes, and also keep your concerns to no more than 2 concerns. We can come back and get back in line. But thank you guys. Yeah. Go ahead, Austin.
Hello, I'm Austin Salcedo. Before I start my 2 minutes, I'm gonna have to ask the NCO the position of my complaints to the commissioners, the NCO commissioners, dated June 13th and the 27th, because I could not see the neighborhood plan online because it was not available. I provided that on my complaint. So I'm asking for extension because they just recently gave me separately the plan, a 60-page to review. So it was not available for me to review and to add it to it. And they denied the complaint, but I'm asking for an extension to review it and to resubmit my complaint on June 13 and June 27.
I'm not at the liberty to answer that just because I don't have that authority to answer that question, but I can take that back first thing tomorrow, get that followed up, and I can give you a file first thing tomorrow.
Yeah,
our deputies back in office and I can discuss it with him.
and that goes for everybody else too, is filing a complaint on their neighborhood boards. That website, on the complaint form is not achievable. And you're gonna have to contact the NCO to get the 60-page neighborhood plan to be, okay, anyway. To go back, I need to know the position of the neighborhood board, the February 22nd RISE special meeting that we had held over here. The neighborhood board did not take a position in any of the meetings that I attended. And it's already have been lapsed 60 days. And that was one part of the complaint. That's one of the issues because per special meeting that was held in February, the RISE presentation, neighborhood chair and the neighborhood board has not taken a position regarding the RISE versus Makaha petitioners, Noholio Road, and our Councilwoman Tupola's supporting the community on that petition. This has caused a significant impact upon the residents of Makaha Valley, including obligations under the Honolulu City Department CUP Major Conditional Use Permit. This is the permits pre-application procedures, and that's required for the pre-application procedures. If that's not if that we cannot get a written position of the neighborhood board, whether you guys are going to accept the RISE position in being up in Noholio Road or declining it. Because remember, we had the petition support by Councilwoman Andrea Tupola, but we never got a written position of this. That's one of the complaints. And it's actually major because recently RISE had came back to the neighborhood on Noholio Road and gave a letter for they want a discussion, a barbecue on the 20th of July. There is an invite letter that was given to the neighbors, the residents on Noholio Road. And it's going to be from here it says, I'll read it out. We would like to invite you to community to Waianae, where we can talk stories, share our conceptual plans for our new property, discuss the safety measures we would implement for the well-being of our neighbors, and answer any questions you might have about the youths we serve and how we operate as an organization. And it goes on to say, but what I'm trying to say is they're being persistent on this, and they already know the neighbors because of the petition of overwhelming support. So on July 20th, they're coming right back. They're now the.
Is there another concern? Because your time.
Oh, no, that's it. So I need to know the position of the neighborhood board. That's what I'm asking. A written position.
We can't say anything on that right now. We're still looking into that matter.
Yeah, because it's been over 60 days. That's why.
Yeah. Thank you, Austin. Anybody else?
2 minutes. I'm gonna try to rip them. Okay. Okay. Guys, give us too much. A little bit minute. Okay.
Go.
About. Okay. You guys said the address. You need the address 8511340. That's the Waianae Valley Road. That's the ranch land. Okay. So the kid ain't gonna help them guys clean up the road. But that no count. This been 6 months that nobody never do nothing. Historic preservation, 0. There's no impact statement on the road that they're building there. Okay, they said that's private. That's not private. I got arrested 2014 for that land. We didn't clean that land. We had guys who passed away already. They're not here today, but they didn't help us clean that land and had choke rubbish before we got the rancher evicted. So we ended up malamering that Aina, and we was on that Aina. But 4 of us got arrested 2014. So the thing is not private land. It's not. So the cops will take us and the dealer now and give us citation at the police station in Kapolei. Then let us go. Then they will take all our stuff. Okay? So those guys can get out of there because that's what I like. I like those guys out already because we never do no drilling like what this guy did. He can drill for telephone poles or make fence for his horses. Okay? You cannot drill because that's historic preservation. Where the archaeologists, he not there, fired. All these representatives, how come they never bite and hurry up? These 6 months already, I've been coming over here and grumbling. Waste of my breath. You know what I mean? What else? By cheese land. They would fence him off. They should make fence around his mother and his father, and he only get a little portion. Then move around rocks and stuff, try block the way. But then put fence, and then now the horses is walking all over where the graves there. Okay? What else I get? Rim pack. They can pack their stuff and get out of here. The real war stay, where the things there? Russia. Go over there. You can let go practice. Go do the real thing. And just like he said, they stay over there practicing in Schofield. They got a deoccupy. They got a Alponi Oko Hawaii Pine. They got a deoccupy, bro.
That was
Because right now, right now, the state no, they only leasing them. They don't even own the land. Like I said, pala ala nui. They no more paperwork. Our blood is the paperwork. Right here, you see the blood in the vein. That's our paperwork. Aloha.
mahalo.
Aloha.
State your
Peter
name.
Mulder from McCaw. I received a letter from the Rise, and we kind of made our we made the petition and everything, and the community's against it, and it just seems like they keep pushing and pushing, and they come out there and cut the grass, but it's in vain because the thing just in 2 days that thing grow a foot, so it's a fire hazard, and I don't understand how the whole community is against it, and then they still pushing, and then it just seems like it's been given a right already. So that's my concern. You guys need to take your position. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter.
Hello, Austin again, coming in second round. I'd like to give you guys a copy of the notification that was made to Noholio Road. So I'm gonna present them and put them into the minutes of this agenda to the NCO. Thank you.
Thank you, Austin. Hey, was that? Can you give me the address again?
The address is 851530.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And the state is still perpetrating the crime. You know what I mean? The state, the state, the Hawaiian Electric, the Board of Water Supply. The king own all of that. Kalaukaua and the queen, they own all of that. And guess who's us guys is the heirs and successors. If they can look back their roots back, go to the beer convents and go look, go study, go look where your name's there, where you stand in this. You know what I mean? Because I know myself. I did my research. My mom did them for us. Good thing. Aloha.
Mahalo. Kale.
Aloha, Kale Saucedo. This is a big concern I have. We had rapid shooting on May 31st. Okay? At Makua, Kehausai. Rapid shooting. I called due care. DLNR. I called HPD. Zero response from neither of them. I called the state sheriff's department within an hour decade. That's a big concern. Because we lost life over there. We lost Duke Boy there. What is it going to take? Losing another life? I'm the voice for the kupunas out there and the kids that do not have a voice. I'm the voice for the kupunas that said HPD no care. The neighborhood board no care. Nobody no care. Well, I care for them. My husband cares for them. This is a big concern. When I called a neighbor, when I called the board member, I'm not going to mention the name. What was more important was Opala. Worry about the $1 million home. When I explained it about the rapid gunshot, how dangerous that is, the Opala was more important. They have private contract to handle them. They have association up there. I'm concerned what's going on in our community. This Cal Beach Park, all it takes is one stray bullet to hit someone. One stray bullet. Enough is enough. If you're going to be the years for the community, try also be the voice. Because we're the voice. But we need you folks to be the extra voice and help move that pohaku. Because I'm not going to be moving it by myself. I bring my kapunas. We load up this room. When I've been concerned about things that's coming, just coming in without coming to the neighborhood board. So many violations is going on. And I'm pretty sure our board knows this. But the
Hello, thank you.
community needs to be heard, not just limited and hush and pushing aside. That's all I have to say. You are here for the community, and we're coming for you folks. Assisted. If you cannot, say can. No can, then we'll go another way. Mahalo.
All right, Shelby, billionaire here, Pikachu. So I have a concern and a solution. So as you guys know, I'm on the ballot for U.S. Senator, but I have no idea what a U.S. Senator does. So at the Google, I called Macy Hirono's office, and according to Google, we're supposed to amend the Constitution, be appointed on these committees, and do these chairs for whoever the president appoints, whoever that's going to be. And I called the office, and I said, where do you guys stay? Because I'm from Waianae. If you get this job, where do you go in Washington, D.C.? Do you have a house? They said, no. The intern gets paid $17 an hour, lives at Georgetown University. And I said, I got human trafficking, death, murder, rape, all kind of shootings here in Waianae. What can Maisie do to make aftercare programs, which is the solution for human trafficking survivors? They says, she can't do that. DC only does federal laws. So the solution I'm bringing back to you guys is not up to the federal senator to make laws for that. We have to make aftercare children for all 50 states. I just can't say Waianae. I can't say Hawaiians because it's against federal discriminational laws. As you guys know, with those signs when you work for some place. So their solution to me was that the future U.S. senators who are in this room on Zoom are the ones who are supposed to write the laws. The senators can write unlimited laws for the bills, not the reps. There's a certain number, cross, and everybody knows how the game's played. So to be more effective on the Waianae board, it's better that we all push our current senators who are currently on break to write the bills now before it comes January 17th. And we have to get the Senate and the House approved. Use your kapuna power and complain. And that's how we get stuff done. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. How it'll be more effective is if you go to the PAR, which is fourth floor at the Capitol, they're going to help you to make legislation. Meaning, if somebody already wrote a bill about human trafficking, you look for it up first, and you tag them, and you tag the chair, and you tag the committees, and the chairperson makes the rule, not all the board members. So you have to be very target marketing when you're trying to make laws and bills. This is how it's supposed to work in every single state. And I'm supposed to convince all the senators and the House of Reps and Congress to believe in us. But we can't say Hawaiians, and that's where we're not getting the federal money because we can't discriminate. So the solution is to use who the people are here who want to win your vote. And you make them write all the bills for you because it's free. That's their job. They're a legislator. We're not the Justice Department, which would be a separate issue. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Chris?
It's vertically challenged, so let me readjust this.
Chris Moroka. So I like call out everybody, starting with the neighborhood board, then our rep, and then our senator. She retired. But one thing I sit back there, and the thing is like on chorus to a song. Auntie said them, Brother Mike Ovia said them, and the reoccurring theme is we being ignored. We being ignored. We got to. Thank you for voting me on the board because you guys, I get shit done. Excuse me. I get stuff done. That is one of my specialties. I now care about making friends. I get plenty of those. I can afford to lose some. I get things done. And when we hear people that complain about not being heard or wasting my breath, we turning these people off. When in reality, we need them. We need the support. So as a neighborhood board, when we get a member ask for your stance for
or one issue that they believe in, whether you guys for or against, we gotta make one stance. That's where it starts. And then from the neighborhood board, we can elevate it to our representative and then to our senator. But we gotta make one stand. Like building on house, we start brick by brick from the bottom going up. We gotta make one stand. Too many people feel like they're not being heard or we're being ignored. And then we're gonna start losing that. Once people give up on us, once people give up on our community, that's where we get the problems that we get in. Too many people for too long have been feeling ignored. Too many people for too long feel like, for what? They're not gonna listen. We gotta change that. And it starts right here. It really does. It starts right here.
Thank you, Chris.
I just gone AORAT. Aloha Vice Chair, Board Member Samantha D. Court, Maili resident, also a member of the Neighborhood Security Watch. In light of the shooting that happened on Sunday, I want to invite the community board members as well out to a Neighborhood Security Watch walk that we will be organizing on Friday, July 12th at 6 p.m. at Uluvehi's. We really want to show strong support to the community, especially to the residents that are living there, that we as our community are coming behind them in support, even if that means just a visible presence. The police does what they do, state officials and city officials do what they do, but we as a community, we want to make sure that, you know, we show the community members, families there, kids there, that we are there visibly, presently, to support them and be a positive influence in that community. So please come out, everybody, Friday, July 12th, 6 p.m. at Uluvehi's. We're going to meet all the way at the end of the cul-de-sac. You'll see us. We always come planning people with tents and stuff like that. So please come out and just show your support. So mahalo.
More community concern?
Aloha, blessings, star, again, sorry. For the noise ordinance with the shooting and military and stuff, military do have a number that the community can call and make a complaint in there, so they have a listing of all the people and complaint, and it should start shutting them down when they do with the noises and the bombing. And another thing with the rise, I wanted to bring up, because I was there on that meeting when they did the presentation. To my understanding, what Rise had said in statement, and you guys can see on the records and the videos, that they got federal funded grants. So that in turn went into a 501. However, she made a statement saying that they are also private funded. Now, at that time, the neighborhood board had made a stance with the community, not for them to continue on. And that was supposed to go into litigations with the senators and whatnot and whatnot. That's the break here. Now, when the community is complaining about what's going on with the rise, if this is not looking at by you guys, it goes towards the senators and stuff, and it goes up to the federal. And that's where I think we should all go as the community should push it for that if it doesn't stop. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Tiana Wilbur. Concern?
Okay, so Jeff, this is definitely off the topic, but because of the driving concerns that are constantly being addressed, there is things in motion, but I first want to point out general powers and duties and functions of the commission, meaning this board. The only job for the chair would be to submit the agendas, hold decorum in the meeting, and secretaries to do the minutes, but NCO sits in on our general meeting to do the minutes. So anything outside of this space right now is added voluntary work and doing it on our own free will, right? So we cannot attach that to neighborhood board. And so the same concerns you guys have is our concerns just as much. When we call the same numbers you call to DLNR, to DoCare, and they say, oh, I didn't go to that call because I was off of work at 2:30. Well, the call came in at 2:37 and then they saw the report and HPD never showed up. But what do? How do we move this as a neighborhood board because we get in the same block as each and every one of you. The DLNR complaint, I drove you up to the site to see exactly what it is you're talking about. Because I wanted to understand so I can advocate better. You know that the officer that filed that report is no longer with the department, and now there's no response. The special meetings that has been requested by our neighborhood, the special meetings, I had to call the ombudsman office just to get the special meeting. And the reason for the minutes, I told DLNR, they're gonna be responsible to get me the recording because they were providing the virtual access because they didn't wanna come in person. It was community members that brought all those individuals to the meeting. So we as neighborhood board get the same block as regular residents. So the only way forward is for us to work together. We're not trying to take any recognition for anything or say no, our heart is right with all of you. So we getting that same exact blockage and same, no emails, responses, the people that helped me do the deal.
I just trying to be a steward of this. I know
Right.
my home.
No, but keep
It's my
coming.
home, so we just
Keep
trying to live,
coming.
yeah?
Yeah.
I just trying to live, but
Yeah.
I cannot live in peace when they're doing all this pilikia in the mountain, you know what I'm saying?
So we do.
But that's good
put
that
the
you did that.
pressure.
Point of
You know,
order, Chair, point of order.
Hold on.
They
This
sit
is-
in the
this is-
AC.
This isn't a debate.
And
This is-
they're
hold on.
supposed to be doing their job.
Hold on, this isn't a debate. This is just, she had a chance to have a concern. Let me, finish up with the community concerns because we have other things to address. And I just want to say, if you guys hear rapid fire as a board, please don't run down there thinking you're gonna stop a bullet, all right? Call HPD, call the authorities. That's all we can really do, okay? As far as, because I'm not gonna put myself in harm's way. I'm sorry. That's not me. I got a life, I got a
There's-
family, and so on.
There's one issue, though, one organization you guys didn't, was called upon,
Austin,
was
you weren't-
state law
you weren't-
enforcement.
You're not called to the mic, and I stopped community concerns already. We're moving on. We're going to item number 8. Mayor's rep. Is she online?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Thank you. So I have a bunch of things, but I'll try to keep it short. Last time there was a question, can Maili Beach Park be monitored in the evening? Resident Blessings De La Cruz shared her concern regarding recent violent physical altercations happening at the beach park, which had been disturbing nearby residents. HPD District 8 officers are aware of an increase in park permits for the beach parks at this time of year. Officers have been making checks of the parks and issued 13 park violation citations in April. They will continue to monitor the public parks and respond to calls for service to address any potential issues. Community members are encouraged to call 911 for immediate police assistance. Boat harbor sweeps. Can the residents at the Waianae Boat Harbor be notified different when sweeps will take place? HPD District 8 Community Policing Team assists the Department of Facility Maintenance in issuing notices to area individuals 24 hours before a stored property ordinance enforcement operation is to take place. Oftentimes, individuals will see the police and leave to avoid any warnings. In these cases, notices will be posted outside of their encampments and a photo is taken for documentation purposes. Most times, these individuals do not make any effort to remove their belongings. Resource workers are present to offer outreach services to these individuals. Bus stop lighting. Can the Farrington Highway, Penna Street bus stop have lighting installed? DTS, Department of Transportation Services, will include the bus stop at Farrington Highway and Penna Street as a site for future installation of bus stop lighting. DTS staff, understanding that DTS's ability to initiate the request to work will be subject to the availability of funds and an island-wide assessment of the priority of needs for transit amenities among all communities. A business without permits. Are businesses able to operate without conditional use permits? How are transitional homes being established without following permitted guidelines? 841170 Farrington Highway is in the B2 Community District Business District. Most commercial uses do not require conditional use permits to operate in the B2 Community Business District. In many cases, but not all, building permits are required. Sometimes other business certificates or licenses are required to operate, but these are not zoning issues and would be regulated by other agencies. Up to 5 unrelated people are allowed to occupy a dwelling. Under the definition of family, that number is raised to 8 people if a dwelling is being used as a state licensed care home. Otherwise, a conditional use permit is required to establish a group living facility in a dwelling with more than 8 occupants. You may want to direct questions to State Department of Health, Office of Healthcare Assurance regarding a state licensed facility. If you believe the facility is unlicensed and has more than 5 unrelated people, you may request an investigation by DPP at our website, honolulu.gov/DPP. And then I know there was a question about Noholia Road. I checked on the status today. There is an existing violation for grading, and we issued a fines notice. There's an initial $100 fine, and today began daily fines of $100. That's all I have, but if there's any questions, I will take them and get answers for you. Mahalo.
Board Member Crab. Go ahead, and then followed by Tiana Wilbur.
Hi, Don. Question. So Mr. Mike Eli has been coming to the community neighborhood board and advocating for the issues happening up Waianae Valley. We found out that DLNR would not participate in addressing the issue because the people are leasing the state land. And then when we spoke to HPD, they said they can't address the issue either and that DPP has to address the issue. We contacted DPP and then the response was that the area is too large. And so if we could narrow down where the issues were being or were happening, since then time has gone by and the evidence that was there when it was first addressed may not be present anymore. And so in that situation, like what are we supposed to do? Because Evie, Kapuna graves were allegedly violated and now we don't have proof at the moment because grass is overgrown and then there's alleged illegal commercialized horseback riding activity happening up there in the mountains. Can we have someone go look at it, please, or at least meet with Mr. Eli to discuss the issue because it shouldn't have taken 6 months for us to find out that it was a DPP inspecting issue. So
Yeah.
if we can shed light on that, please.
Yes, definitely. I think the issue about the area was too large. It's much more helpful if we have a specific address or TMK so we can assess, what the zoning is, the landowner, and then we can actually have the inspector go to the right property. So if we can get that information and then we can go and inspect. If there's any pictures or other video of the alleged violation, then we will take that in too. So it's just being more specific and detailed, but we can send out an inspector.
Could you clarify that address for her for that
851530 Waianae Valley Road. And it's a the share dual lease, Kahala Farm and Home Keola. Dual lease, they get on dual lease. Gonna be 45 years they can have that. That's how big that lease. I think not private because we was over there and I got arrested over there on that land. The dealer aren't.
That's good. We just needed the address. Thank you.
So I'm sorry, just real quick, 851530 Waianae Valley Road.
8515.
1530.
Yeah, 1530 Waianae Valley Road.
Mike,
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know if you heard pictures better than words.
Yeah.
Anytime I get a problem, I take pictures and when I send it to the right people like Don, they take action because they can see the problem and the location on the picture a lot of times help them find it. So pictures is a very helpful tool.
Board member, Tiana Wilbur, and then, okay, hold on. Go ahead, Jeff.
And also, if you do take pictures and you can get them to me, I can include those pictures onto the mayor's rep report that can get addressed accordingly with the responses, just how Director Apuna shared. If you send in pictures, I can attach those to the report as well to help them answer the question, address the concern.
Also, and one more thing, if we can get a contact number for Mr. Eli, then we can reach out directly for more information and provide a response as well.
Yes, we have his.
Board member Tiana Wilbur, and then we're going to Johnny May after that. Board member Perry.
Mahalo, Don, for your report. Just wondering if you could email us all of your report and also clarifying question on Noholio Road. Is that for the property in question with the RISE project?
I'm not sure. This is so.
Can you say the address, please?
It's actually so Austin Salcedo. He's an adjacent property owner. I'm
Also,
not sure.
That's the back property on the Mauka side. The large property.
I was just wondering because
Clarification, there was a police report made on January 8th because of the flood waters.
Mhm.
As a result of flood waters coming from the back property into our property, to our back, and ending up on our road. But there's a lot of erosion that's been happening on all neighboring property on the Mauka side of Noholio Road. It then ended up on the Makai side of Noholio Road, flooding, deep flooding on residents. So I did not file the police report. The neighbors on the Makai side had filed the police report. So that particular neighbor, I ain't going to mention his name. There was a question that was asked months ago after January 8th, but never got a response. So thank you, Don, and this neighborhood board is going to follow up with the complainant.
You know, for that RISE property, you have the address for that property as well?
Oh, I don't have that, the address of the RISE.
Don, I'll email it to you, but I would like to follow up if there's any special permitting put in.
But there,
Because for the record, the neighborhood board has not making a position on it because it's never been added to the agenda per the special meeting. The special meeting was just for them to come and present, to share, and then for community to share our concerns. But before we ended the meeting, it was stated that before you move forward with anything, it needs to come back to the full board for any type of stance on it. And there has been no communication with the RISE project or Carla Hauser to have it represented or showing future movement forward on that property. And that's where the board has not taken a stand because there has been no formal request to be on the agenda for us to take a stand on it. They haven't even gotten the permit. So I will send you the address, Don, via email so that we can follow up on that.
and that's on the same subject matter I'm about to say as well too. I see the position of the neighborhood board, but this, they're being persistent. They're contacting, I'll call it harassing the neighbors, residents on Noholio Road because they want to really implement their tactics, but it's closely put within a one half mile of a school, in any schools in any direction. It's less than that in any direction they go to. So I think the solution here is on SR's recent SR 53, where this task team from the mayor's management directors put together Krishna Jairam, Sam Moku, Donna Puna, 2 neighborhood board officials, Philip Gunaban, Richard Lamford, and State Attorney General's office and Department of Health on this SR 53. So I'm asking right now, letting you folks know that I'm asking for a Zoom meeting to be put together with them. As I speaking to you, it's been about a week already. Have not got a response. I spoke to them personally. They're just trying to come up to a time and its availability of all these officials to be put together for this Zoom meeting. So I'm putting the solution into the power of the neighborhood board that's going to have to be effective, proactive rather than reactive. So we're doing a solution on that part.
Thank-
So
Thank you.
this is
Officer.
one of the issues. Okay.
Thank you. Perry, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Don, for attending our meeting. I sent you a bunch of questions, but I just wanna give a shout out for Lori Kaikina, reappointment to Executive Director and CEO of HART. And developers, I know the city give waivers, waivers. So let's say you give a developer $10,000 worth of fees waivers. How does the city make up for that shortfall? We've been having erratic pickup in Waianae Valley, our trash pickup in the month of June. Just curious what's going on with that. And landlords should be tenants that live in rentals that causes criminal act in our community. There should be a law about landlords evicting those tenants. Along Waianae Valley Road and Mill, I noticed all this no parking sign. You know, the highway is just so littered with signs here and there. So maybe instead of a no parking sign, maybe the red paint. And the red paint is supposed to indicate no parking. And lastly, going back to the city in the acquisition of the military land, thumbs down for whatever I mentioned in the community concern. As historically, military really do some damage to the land, and for the taxpayers to acquire those lands, the military should pay for all the mitigation before turning over instead of the taxpayers of Honolulu. Thank you.
Thank you, Perry.
Did you want me to respond real quickly to some of those questions?
Yeah, if you can offline, if you could take, because we're kind of running into time here, but I did have a concern from mine regarding the Humane Society and Dole Care and the other and state agencies that are would take precedence over any illegal activity that happens on state land that is north of the Ke'au area. I mean, it is very concerning. We you know, we have community members that have been coming and mentioning how they've been attacked by dogs within the park there. And we try to call the Humane Society and nobody answers their phone. It's been a very challenging for the community members out here to get answers and get those things addressed. It's going to come to a point where it's going to be a very severe situation. And I mean, the community has brought this to your guys' attention multiple times. I just hope that's something that you can help us out with.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think in the email that you're gonna send with some other questions and other information, if you guys wanna just give me a quick write-up about it and the location, I can see what I can do as far as figuring out which agency should be working on this, and if there needs to be cross coordination among various agencies, state, city, or otherwise, I can look into it and try to figure out what the solution is for the community.
Thank you, mahalo. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hey, for the sake of time, we're gonna actually just move on and just have the representatives state read the reports, and then we'll do any questioning stuff that offline. Okay, is there a representative from Representative Andrea? Kika's there.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm online. Thank you.
aloha, Kika.
Thank you, board and chair. Excuse Councilmember. Her phone died. She was actually on, but her phone died. But we just want to first thank everyone who attended our last crime town hall. We talked heavily about the youth crime in our community. We are working on getting a school resource officer in Nanakuli. and we're looking to host a youth forum or event at the end of this month. We love our youth, but we need to continue to support them. So we're going to be putting that together. We'll let everyone know when that event will be. Second, we passed the city budget that last month, and we put money again for Kaupuni Park, which got approved. So we're happy to see a lot of improvements at Hokai Bay, but we need your help to keep pushing for DPR to prioritize our Waianae homestead. Our next community cleanup will be on August 24th. If you guys are interested in joining, please contact our office. And then our homeless outreach, Restore, Reconnect, Revive will be starting up in August as well. And office for more information on that. And that's all we have for report.
Okay, and thank you for joining us on that neighborhood walk, the last one we had there.
Welcome.
Thank you for your report. Water supply? Chris?
Yeah, I'm here, Chair. Mahalo, everyone. My name is Chris Sugimoto from the Honolulu Board of Water Supply. I would like to share my report for this month. So the main break report, there was one water main break. It was on June 18th. It was a 4-inch main. The address was 86-503 Kavili Place, and it was almost 50 years old. The general water announcements is about our 2024 annual Unthirsty plant sale. So everyone is invited to our 2024 annual Unthirsty plant sale at the Halava Xeriscape Garden on Saturday, August 3rd from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The plant sale is a family-friendly event that will offer the following variety of xeric plants by local vendors, a team of plant doctors from UH Master Gardener Program with plant care advice and information, educational booths, free soil conditioner, Cactus and Succulent Society of Hawaii display of award-winning cacti and succulents. For more event information, you can visit our website at www.boardofwatersupply.com. And that's the end of my report. Does anyone have any questions or comments for BWS?
If you could address any questions or comments online, and then moving forward. And thank you for your time.
Okay, mahalo, everyone.
Army Garrison, Lieutenant Colonel Patrick Yoon.
Committee members, board members, thank you for this evening. So I have a statement here, or just a release at the interest for the board members and committee members. Army invites comments on the draft environmental impact statement for proposed land retention at Kahuku Training Area, at Pohoma Training Area, and Makua and military reservations in Hawaii. The U.S. Army prepared a draft environmental impact statement regarding its proposed retention of up to approximately 6,322 acres of state-owned lands. This land retention would support continued military training at Kahuku Training Area, Pohoma Training Area, and Makua Military Reservation on the island of Oahu. Native Hawaiian organizations, federal, state, and local agencies officials, and other interested organizations and individuals are encouraged to review the draft EIS and provide comments during the 60-day public comment period, which runs from June 7th, 2024 through August 7th, 2024. The draft EIS can be viewed online, and if you need it, or I will send this to the board, or I can come up after I get out of here and I can show it to you here. To be considered in the final EIS, all comments must be postmarked or received by 11:59 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time on August 7, 2024. Written comments can be submitted through the above website, emailed to atlr-oahu-eis@g70.design, or mailed to Oahu ATLR EIS Comments, P.O. Box 3444, Honolulu, Hawaii 96801. Public meetings will be held at Waianae District Park Multipurpose Room on July 9th, 2024, Kahuku High and Intermediate School on July 10th, 2024, and Leilehua High School on July 11th, 2024, to provide information on the draft EIS and to enhance the opportunity for public input. The Army distributed the draft EIS to Native Hawaii organizations, federal, state, and local agencies, officials, other key stakeholders, and local libraries. The public may also review the draft EIS and select materials at the following libraries: Hawaii State Library, Hawaii Document Center at 478 South King Street, Honolulu, Hawaii; Kahuku Public and School Library at 56490 Kamehameha Highway, Kahuku, Hawaii; Wahiawa Public Library, 820 California Avenue, Wahiawa, Hawaii; and Waianae Public Library, 85625 Farrington Highway, Waianae, Hawaii. In preparing the final EIS, the Army will review and consider all timely public comments regarding the draft EIS. For more information, please contact the U.S. Army Garrison Hawaii Public Affairs Office or by phone at 808-787-2140. I know that was a bit long, and again, I'll send this to the board members so that I can go out to the public and community. Thank you very much.
Mahalo. Kaukoho, can you address any concerns via email or for the sake of time, or on chat if you can? Then he can answer, try and answer it. For the sake of time.
Aloha.
Victor.
Victor Flint, Naval Facilities. You guys have the written report. Any questions, concern about the Navy Closure Task Force? That could all be found online. Drinking water and long-term monitoring, that also can be found online, up-to-date info on Pearl Harbor Safe Waters website. Plus, I have that info with me right now if you want to check it out. Navy's hiring, security positions, emergency response, admin, the trades. Go on LinkedIn or the Navy Facebook. That information's over there. RIMPAC, 29 nations, 25,000 personnel, 40 ships, 4 subs. This is major. It's going on right now from June 27th to August 2nd. More information, you can go online, just Google RIMPAC 2024. 4th of July, the Navy's having one of the biggest shows in the state. For more information, you can go on to the Navy MWR website for specific information to include the concerts and custom car show. Wow. Last but not least, Kolikoli Pass, clear and passable in case of a declared emergency. That's all I have.
Thank you, Uncle Vic. Now we're moving on to elected officials. Is Congresswoman Jill Tokuda, our representative, online? Seeing none, we're moving to governor's representative. Diamond.
Yep, aloha chair, aloha board members. My name is Diamond Badaos. I'm the Department of Hawaiian Homeland's Public Information Officer. I'm here representing the Gov's office. I don't have anything to report at this time, but I'm happy to take any questions from the chat back to either the department or to the governor's office. So mahalo.
Johnny May, could you put it in the chat?
I just want to double check if she heard my concern. She was online.
From the earlier discussions, yes.
Okay, and you got that to take back to the governor. Thank you.
Diamond, are you still there?
Yep, I'm still here.
The other concern would be the other community members as far as the rapid fire that's taking place more on the state side, the state land, north of Ke'au Beach Park and stuff like that. If we can try and address that situation, and most of it is happening on more the state side, but that would we really appreciate it. There's a big concern out here involving the illegal hunting and the abuse of illegal firearms and so on and so forth out here. But we'd really appreciate if you guys look into that.
Understood. Thank you.
And thank you, Diamond, for your time. State Senator interim.
Aloha, everybody. It's still me, Patrice, Tana. I am still with District 22, so if anybody has any concerns, please reach out to me.
Mahalo. Good to see you out there. Patrice.
Good to see you too.
Okay, and then the state representative, Cedric Gates.
Hello, Mike Kako, Cedric Gates here. As you can see, I'm sharing my recent July newsletter with our 2024 legislative wrap-up. Just some quick highlights. As the chairman of Agriculture and Food Systems, we passed an historic omnibus bill to eradicate invasive species across our state. We allocated 19 million, close to 20 million, to go towards coconut rhinoceros beetle, little fire ants, and ungulates across the state as well. We also passed the bill, which is my bill, HB 2546, which will now allow for everyone to use mesh nets to protect their plants from invasive species like coconut rhinoceros beetle. This has proven to be effective, and so we are going to continue to advocate that we get this out to the community. I do have a good update on this mesh net program. The Department of Agriculture is ordering a bunch of mesh nets to be distributed to community organizations and residents, and I'll be organizing those give backs, I guess, or giveaways for those mesh nets, so stay tuned for that. One of the big things that we know is our community has been getting exploited by people geotagging locations and exploiting our natural resources. So we passed the resolution to urge HTA to conduct a study to make sure that we are getting ahead of the curve when it comes to protecting our natural resources. SB 2085 establishes the Office of the State Fire Marshal. This is a direct response to the Lahaina fires and having a coordinated response to wildfires across the state. So that's a great bill that I think will do really good. SB 1258 requires DLNR to implement a management plan for Kaena Point State Park. That's Makua and Kaena Point, as well as Keavu'ula. That's been something that I've spearheaded to push the state to actually follow through on our promises to better manage our public resources. Lastly, SR 53 urges DOH to convene the working group to assess the registration and monitoring of all group living facilities. This is something that we know the Salcedos have been advocating for quite some time. So we're going to continue to push towards the goal of get better managing these clean and sober homes across our state. Real quick, 2024 capital improvement project funds. We were able to secure 3.4 million for Kamaili Academy to build new classrooms. Waianae Elementary, we're expanding the parking lot to be able to create a more safer drop off and pick up for our kids. Waianae Intermediate, 3 million for a covered play court. So the courts that we all see as we pass Waianae Inter will now be covered and basically turned into their own gymnasium, which I think is so important. As a former student of Waianae Intermediate, I can't tell you how much times I fainted on that court playing basketball. So I'm just grateful that the next generation won't have to suffer. When it comes to the GIAs, funding our nonprofit organizations on the west side, Elapile Social Services received 800,000 for emergency food warehouse on Waianae Comprehensive Health Center's main campus. Makaha Cultural Learning Center, excuse me, is doing a training program to get people trained up in renewable energy and construction. So they received 135. And lastly, Westside Strikings, a boxing club out here, received 50,000 to go towards their program. Mahalo.
Thank you, Representative Gates.
Thank you.
Moving on. Let's see who we got. Oh, all right, board committee reports. Wait, sorry, Rep Keela, are you online? Or anybody or any representatives? And now moving to board committee reports and membership. Let's see. Good. Okay. Any other chairs for these committees? Are you guys good with the dates and times that have been posted here? Okay, so the monthly meeting, so transportation with Chair Richard Lanford is the first Thursday. Parks and Ocean Safety with Chair myself, second Tuesday. Housing and Homelessness with Chair Cross Crab and Vice Chair Calvin Endo, third, or co-chair, sorry, it says Vice Chair. Okay, so it's co-chair. Co-chair Calvin Endo, third Tuesday. Natural Resources, Water and Land, Chair Philip Ganaban and Vice Chair Richard Lanford, third Thursday. Hawaiian Affairs, Chair Kaukohu Wahilani, first Thursday. And Education, Health, and Public Safety, Chair Calvin Endo and Vice Chair Cross Crab, third Tuesday. Business and Economics Development, Chair Philip Ganaban and Vice Chair Richard Lanford, third Thursday. Now to announcements. Next regular meeting of Waianae Neighborhood Board, number 24, is 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, August 6, 2024. If you're interested in attending any neighborhood security watch in the area, please reach out for us to connect you. Community events, see West Side Stories, School Supply Drive at PD La'au Park. Drop-off is July 13th, 10 to 2 p.m. And or the drop-off, or August 3rd. Oh, August 3rd is the event. Sorry, August 3rd is the event at oh, okay, Waianae Elementary. Okay, and then La Ho'i Poka'ibe Waianae Puna Council, July 27th, July 30th. Maili Land Back to School by Catholic Charities. Department of State, DOT, mahalo for your quick response. And I did. Oh, shoot. We'll come back to that one. Mahalo for your quick response and diligence in our moku. Waianae Public Library scheduled for the month of July. Get out and support our local artists and talents. What is that? Oh. Department of Facilities Management, City Department of State, and DOT. Okay.
Sorry, just emphasizing the mahalo to DFM, City Department, and State DOT. There was request for, it's been a big concern, overgrowth, wildfire break, and preparedness. And so with the overgrowth after the last rain, the request was put out, phone calls was made, and they came out within 2 weeks to cut back in front of our refuge center, Lualuale, Lehoku Street, and I think they're coming to Lehoku Street, but Waianae Valley Road.
Thank you for that. And we're community consciousness and values, be part of the solution, not the problem. Let's put the unity back in community. Any other announcements? Anybody have anything else?
Chair, I have an announcement.
Go ahead, Kako.
So, July 4th,
You muted yourself. You gotta do that. You gotta go again. You muted yourself.
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, so my announcement is this Thursday, July 4th, at Iolani Palace. Community members like myself, Auntie Lynette Cruz, Nani Peterson. We're putting on, this is going to be our 6th year doing the reenactment of a theft of a nation, what had historically happened at Iolani Palace, July 4th, 1898, when the provisional government proclaimed Republic of Hawaii, took down our high Hawaii. So it's an historical reenactment of what actually happened. So the gates open at 8 o'clock, and the reenactment starts at 10. And we'll have speakers and live music there. So we got the permit from 8 to 2 o'clock. So if folks want to come down and get informed of what actually happened July 4th, 1898 on the steps of the palace grounds. So mahalo.
Thank you, Member Hilani. Any other announcements? Subscribe.
Yeah, I just wanted to say mahalo to the board members who have served in previous roles on the board as well as the current roles. Again, this is a volunteer duties and responsibilities that we have. And I think everyone has been doing a great job in putting in the effort to implement, the responsibilities that our board holds. So thank you, everyone, for serving. Oh, and thank you for the community who helped clean up tonight. Mahalo.
Yeah, thank you. Johnny May?
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to say something under the community report. I wanted to be added to the education committee. And I also wanted to create a committee, and it would be community services. The city have a Department of Community Service, which takes care of 3 areas. But the area that I'm most interested to pilot is the Elderly Affairs Division. So that's why my hand was up.
Okay, is it possible for you, could you submit that request to the chair? That would be Philip Ganaban, and then, so that we can be brought forth on our next, agenda.
Absolutely. Thank you.
No, thank you. And, we have, Crosscraft to adjourn. Any second on that?
Second.
Fernando, second. And we are adjourned.